Hello everybody, we're back for another painting giveaway, paint along, all the fun things, and artist hangout. Before we get going too far, I need to make sure audio is working, so I'll wait to hear from one of you guys letting me know if that is working as intended. I may have to run out at some point. Gibson has not been feeling well and has to go outside a lot. So, TMI, I know, but we're keeping an eye on that. I'm not sure why his stomach's upset, but it's fun. It's not fun. So anyway, if I have to run out, that is why. Let's see, I think we're good. Okay, audio is good. So, for this one, I am working on a Frederick's watercolor canvas board, and just for transparency, this video is sponsored, or I am sponsored by Frederick's. They provided us with a canvas that we're going to be using. This is a canvas board, and it is a watercolor canvas board. So why would I use watercolor on an acrylic painting? Because it's super smooth and it is amazing to paint on. I like really, really smooth canvases because when I do fine detail, it comes out like the brush strokes are they end up being really smooth. If you're working on a canvas that has a lot of tooth, those are good for certain techniques. So it's not that having tooth is bad. It's just for the techniques that I use, smooth is better. And that is what I got here. So this one is an 8x10 and it's a canvas board. So you would frame this, you can see just the board there. You would frame this just like you would any canvas in an open frame. So you're not gonna put this behind glass or anything like that. And this painting will be given away at the end of tonight's live stream. Our code word is Yay MeWe. So if you head over to our art group on MeWe, link is in the video description. This post over there, so not my personal MeWe, not Facebook, not private messaging me, none of that is going to get you an entry. Unfortunately, I can't move those entries for you. Has to be on this group over on MeWe, link in the video description. This post here, it tells you this is the post, here are the rules for the giveaway. It is only for US citizens because I can only send to the US right now. Everything's a mess with trying to ship things, so I'm still looking into it, but to be quite frank, honestly, I haven't looked into it at all. I do want to do some giveaways for those of you outside of the US. I think I can send stuff to you from Amazon. So maybe some art supplies. So we do have that stuff coming up, and those will always be held through MeWe and combination MeWe YouTube because screw Facebook. So anyway, moving on. I might be bitter. I'm not happy that I spent years, actually I'm not even that upset. You spend years building your business on a platform just to have them to delete you from an error, and then maybe they'll give you your account back. I did get mine back, but it was enough for me to go, I am not putting my work, and no one sees my post over there anyway. This is the funny thing, totally little side thing. I have posted some of these, some recent paintings over on Facebook, or if I had a new video go up over on Facebook and over on MeWe. MeWe, I only have, gosh, how many are following me on MeWe? Is it 1,500 or, hold on, I can find out really quick. I don't remember. Where is my page on MeWe? I've got 1,572 people following me on MeWe. On Facebook, something like 33,000, something like that. I get more people seeing my posts on MeWe than I do on Facebook because Facebook does not let people see your posts. So why are we posting there? It's better to start from scratch. Let's get I'm really hoping MeWe does well because it is good for our business all around. And let's go ahead and close MeWe. I don't need that open right now. So anyway, there's my little MeWe rant. I'm sure there'll be more because that's what I do. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Ace of Babes. Just subbed on Patreon, loving the long form tutorials. Yay, thank you and welcome. Let's see. Okay, so with this one, this is actually, I'm using an older painting as reference. Is that weird? But this is going to be it's a piece of a wave I previously painted. And actually, I opened it in a new, hold on. I will show you right now the painting that it's from. I'm going to put it in the chat. If you go to my website, so if you're watching this after as a live, I don't know that you can see this, but if you go into the chat, I've got the lachri.com/gallery. If you just go to my website, lachri.com, go to the gallery. This painting is there. It's one that was done completely in gray, so black and white and teal. Those were my only colors. Has dolphins, it's above and underwater, but we're gonna use that just for the waves. So I'm gonna start by painting I'm gonna do wet into wet. So this is good for those of you who are have trouble with clouds, doing wet into wet. I'm gonna be doing this just in black and white, and I'm gonna be using this Fine Mist sprayer, which I don't think I even put in the video description because I'm dumb. But this one, I got this one from, I think, Blick, but you can get a fine mist sprayer from Amazon too. That they're all like, they're not very expensive. So it's not as good as an airbrush. An airbrush is going to give you more consistent fine mist. This is still good. Like it's still, you'll get occasionally heavy water droplets, but it's not so bad that it's not worth using. Whereas like a normal spray bottle for like your plants or whatever, those are too big of droplets and that can create a bit of a nightmare. So something that you want to know there. Let's see. Let's see. Twiz said, I only have MeWe just for you, Lisa. Thank you. Yay. Let's see. Angie says, hello. Angie's Creative Studio. Donna said, can we post the YouTube link on Facebook so others can see what you're doing? Absolutely. Please do. Anytime you will share, I don't care what platform you're on, even if I'm not using that platform that much, the more you share, the better it like you help it. Please. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, Shorty said the fine mist sprayers are awesome. Yeah, you guys are the ones who taught me about these because I didn't think they'd be that good. You guys have been telling me. I'm like, why would I use that? She said airbrush. Like, airbrush is better. No, it's just convenient. It's handy. It's convenient. It's cheap. I used to use the Badger, like the small, with a little propellant can. It was a single action airbrush, and they're kind of a pain in the butt. This is so much easier just for misting water. It's wonderful. Okay, painting. Let's see. I need paintbrushes. Also, for the other giveaways, I don't know if you can see behind me. I've got a mess behind me right now. I've got all the giveaways that I've done over the last couple of weeks. I finally varnished them today. Well, the first layer of varnish, I'll varnish one more coat after tonight, let them dry a few days, and I can finally ship those next week. So those of you who are waiting for that won those giveaways, they're coming. Amanda said, hi Lisa, I have a video question. Do you keep every single piece of footage you make? How do you store your footage for YouTube Patreon? Digital clutter overwhelms me. Yes, I have. So I didn't used to, sorry, pulling the label off the back of this brush. I didn't used to. I used to, once I like condensed it and made a speed video, that was it. I got rid of the original footage because it took up a lot of space and I regret it so bad because I could have turned those into Patreon videos. So now I save everything, but everything goes on a external hard drive. I use Seagate. I've got a 4 terabyte external hard drive. It takes me a couple of years to fill it up. Every couple of years I have to get a new one. So that is where I store them. Okay, let's start with gray. So I'm using Mars Black and Titanium White. I want opaque. I do not want to go with something that's super, let's see, maybe I'll go right about there. I'd rather come down too far than not go far, than have a line where the water and the sky don't quite meet. So I'm just mixing the paint. I'm thinning it out with water. So when I paint with acrylics, I always thin it at least a little bit with water. Unless I'm painting with a palette knife where I want it super thick. It kind of worries me that you're up and awake right now, Gibson. Don't get sick again. So we're just gonna go through, get a base layer. I'm not worried about brush strokes or anything. Oh, yeah, I've got my brushes over here. So we've got that on there. And while that's still, I used a little too much water, honestly. It's like kind of runny. So I'm gonna throw in some thicker paint because this is not gonna blend out really well if I've got it too wet. Okay, so I'm going to wipe the paint off my brush. Lay down, Gibson, all the way. I'll take you out in a bit. Let me at least get the clouds done. So now I'm going to go ahead and throw in a few clouds. And I see how I'm leaving my brush strokes showing. Pull this up to make sure. Shorty said, if this is a painting in the thumbnail, this is the very first tutorial I ever painted on your Patreon years ago. That one had the dolphins under, but this is exciting. Yeah, same one. That's what I'm using. I'm using it as my reference photo. So this one won't be as detailed because, you know, we're short on time, just being that it's a live stream. We've got to do it more quickly, but it'll be very close. Leisha said, I met someone today whose father invented the original masking fluid. Whoa. Gibson, lay down. Good boy. That's crazy. So I'm going to throw some black in there too. Now I'm not using a lot of water because I already have some on there and I have to be careful not to keep blending. So this is a very important thing. If you over blend, you keep blending and blending and blending, you end up with just medium gray instead of definite dark, definite light. You want that variation in there. So now I'm going to take a mop brush and it's actually a blush brush, and I'm very lightly going to go through here. My goal is not to blend the colors so much as get rid of my brush strokes. I just want a nice soft background. And what I do, the cardboard that's behind here, I'll just rub the brush on it every so often to make sure I'm not getting heavier chunks of paint stuck on it, because if this brush gets too wet, whether it be from paint or from water, it creates brush strokes instead of taking them away. And that's one of the reasons too, you've got to be careful to use like barely any pressure on here. Now I can go in all directions, just softening out those brush strokes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry this, and we're going to do one more layer to define the clouds a little bit better. Now, as a general rule, first thing I'm going to do is wash and dry the brush so that this is ready to go for my next layer. I don't want to just rinse it and leave it wet because I need it to be dry and ready to go all the time. So that can sit. This can sit and be wet for a while. The brush, we need this to dry as soon as possible. So that is the first thing I'm going to do. And usually I have a lot of I call them mop brushes, but technically it's a blush brush. I have lots of those ready to go all the time. So when you rinse this, here's a tip, only rinse the tips of the bristles. Don't get it wet all the way down. There's no paint down here. There should only be paint on the very tip of the bristles. So there's no reason to get it completely saturated with water where it's going to take forever to dry. So now I'm going over here. Now, if you made a hot mess and you got paint all the way down, then yeah, okay, you have to rinse that all the way. But if you use this brush properly, you're only getting paint on the very tips of the bristles, so there's no reason to get it all the way wet. Let's grab some more paper towels here. And once these paper towels dry, I use them over and over again. I'm cheap. But for now, I have to grab new ones. And I just keep working that brush in circles until it's really, really dry. Cat's Art Pig said, how's your frog Glitch doing? She's doing good. I think I'm going to move her into my office tomorrow. Tonight or tomorrow? Probably tomorrow. I'm always tired after the live streams, but she's going to go in there so she can hang out with me. She'll be sleeping while I work, but I think I'm going to put her on the case that holds my Little Ponies. So, but she's doing good. She got her meal last night. The purple frog, I got my first negative fecal back on him. I did it on Sunday night. I tested him. Let me dry this. We need to let this set for a second, because if it's not 100% dry, plus we want to cool it off, otherwise it dries too fast when you put the next layer on. But if it's not 100% dry when I put the next layer on, it will lift the first layer in chunks, which is not cute. But yeah, so while we wait for that, the purple frog, I got him, I've been treating him with a medication called Levocol. It has just not been working, and I think I was using too small of a dose because I was afraid to overdose him and have what happened to Glitch happen to him. So I used a small dose, but I think I created a strain of worms that were just resistant to it. I wasn't like putting a dent in those worms, and I'm doing the test. Every time he goes, I'm testing, and he's just... So I ended up switching to Panicure, which is more mild, so that's good, but more worms are resistant to that because it's been used for so many years. Well, he got 4 days of treatment on that and a clean test. So yay, we're getting somewhere. But see, I still don't know how well he'll do long-term, because I'm going to wait. I talked to an expert in Holland, and he said, go ahead and wait 10 days and then repeat the medication. But he's still, the frog, even though we've gotten rid of those, like the parasite load, that's the first time we've had a good test, he's still super swollen. Like he's retaining water, especially around his head and his back, where he shouldn't be. And I wasn't sure if that was related to the parasites, but now I'm like, maybe his kidneys just need to heal. Maybe the parasites have been causing damage. I don't know. And he still gets these weird blotchy things. I don't know. So I talked to the breeder, though. She does have another albino male that has now been negative. She's been treating her frogs for parasites, and that one's negative. So I'm going to go ahead and get another one. I want Murky to have another frog in the tank with her. They're not super social. They don't care. But my human brain is like, she should have a buddy in there. She gives no cares at all. But I want to get her an albino frog The purple one, I'm going to keep working with him. I don't know, but the first negative, I mean, this is the first time we've had a negative test, and I really looked through. I mean, there was no sign at all of parasites. That was kind of huge. So yeah, I've become an expert of looking at frog poop in a microscope. But anyway, so that was kind of encouraging. Let's see. Shelly said, your blush brush suggestion saved my sanity. They're so much better. For years, I was using actual mop brushes, like paint brushes that I would get at whatever art supply store. I don't care how much you spend on them, they all shed. And I would go to more expensive, like Azel Art Supply is here in North Texas, and they have a bigger supply of like higher end quality, higher end brushes, whatever. I could just pick one of those words, Lisa. The words are too hard. But there's a new person behind me somewhere, and that dog barks all the time. Luckily, they're in the distance, but it's like, why do you leave your dog out to bark all the time? But anyway, I went through their more expensive mop brushes, and you can take a brush. You can always tell if you go to an art store, go like this, pull on it. If hairs are coming out, it's crap. Don't buy it. It won't work. And so even more expensive brushes, that was a problem. Like this one's all loose. This is an elf brush, so it's super inexpensive. Like they're not expensive products. Just jam it back on there. Oh, it's tight again. But if you've got a bunch of hairs coming out when you do this, that is not, it's going to leave hairs all over when you use it. So a blush brush, they don't shed. You guys, some of you guys years ago kept telling me that. I kept ignoring you, and I need to stop doing that because you guys are usually right. Let's see. Hi, Kathy. Where are we? Make sure to do the Lachri fine art if you have a comment for me, if you want me to read it, because it'll highlight my name in orange, so I'm more likely to catch it. Otherwise, I just don't see it. So it looks like I'm ignoring you, even if I don't need to. Need to? God, words are hard tonight. Mean to. See, Gibson over there has me a little stressed with him not feeling good. I'm going to blame my lack of communication skills on that. Shelly said, do you have a particular cheap blush brush that you like, or whatever you find? Whatever I find. This one's e.l.f. I'm really liking this one. I like when they have a longer handle. But with makeup brushes, for some reason, longer handle, they're usually heavier handles. I would rather have a short, lightweight handle than a long, heavy handle. Like if I had to choose between the two, I want as light of a handle as possible. But the longer handles are better because you can back your hand up more, and it gives you a looser, it's easier for somebody especially new to a mop brush to have a longer like range. It makes a looser brush stroke, which works better for this type of painting. Let's see. Look, that just jumped. Todd said, I want to start learning to paint. Would you recommend watercolor or acrylic wash for a complete beginner? I think acrylics are easier than watercolors. I don't know who or why there's this idea out there that watercolors are easier. They're one of the harder mediums, I think, to really master. Just because of the nature, they're beautiful. I love them, but they're not the easiest to master, and to get good ones aren't cheap either. So I usually would start students in that case with acrylics, but then I would ask, when they would ask between acrylics and oils, they would assume oils would be the most difficult. Oils are way easier for me to teach someone to use, like a beginner, than acrylics, because acrylics dry so fast that can be very frustrating for a lot of beginners, whereas oils, as long as I can show the student stop and let it dry, once they get the stop and let it dry part and how much liquid to mix, then everything, or mix a medium, whatever they're using, then oils are kind of an easier medium. I don't know why I said kind of. They are easier for me to teach than acrylics. So there you go. Let's see. But between the two, I think acrylics are easier to master. But somebody else may have a different opinion. I mean, it's not like it's going to be the same for everyone type thing. I'm just going by, if I was going to teach someone and I wanted to make my life easier, I'm going to start them on, because it would make their life easier, I'm going to start them on acrylics. But really, I think too, it's important for you to use whatever is more appealing to you. So I would often say charcoal or graphite would be easier for most people. But if they're only really interested in color, then they're not going to learn as much as if I jump them straight into colored pencil or into acrylic. Something that you are excited about, you're going to learn faster on than something I tell you is easier just because I think it's easier, if that makes sense. Let's see. Yes, this is acrylic on the watercolor paint board today, the Frederick's watercolor paint board. Donna said, I've seen other videos where they put small dowels on the short-handled blush brush used masking tape to attach. Yeah, that could work. I actually have thought about doing it. The problem is, depending on how you do it, this is now off center. Off center is gonna, like, that's not, I'm holding up higher. It would take a little bit for me to get used to. I'm not sure, unless there was a way you could use something that was hollow that the brush was centered in. That could work. I don't know. I don't care enough to, this works fine for me, so I'm okay with that, but yeah. Okay, coffee. Vanilla pumpkin spice, because I'm apparently getting a jump on fall for Nick, who lives in the North Pole and is always very excited about cold weather. Okay, are you dry enough? Let's go ahead and do one more coat. Actually, I don't hate these clouds how they are. So there are a few things that you can do on clouds. I'm going to do a little bit different than I was intending. I was just going to do another wet into wet layer on this. I'm going to show you how to form your clouds a little bit more. So it'll be a little bit different than I planned, but it will give us another technique you can see. So I want 2 brushes for this. I want one that is clean and barely damp. I mean barely, because if this gets too wet, it works like an eraser. So I'm going to add water, and then I'm going to dry it off as much as I can on a paper towel. And then I'm going to use just a Taklon bristled filbert, which is kind of my go-to brush. Most of the Taklon bristled filbert, rounds, and liner brushes are my normal go-to brushes. I don't even care about the brand, but those are what I use more often than not with oh geez, that brush is dry, for acrylics. You okay over there, Gibson? Yeah, he didn't eat his breakfast this morning. I'm going to skip his meal tonight, and if tomorrow he's still having issues, we'll have to take him into the vet. But usually if you can give him, I did get chicken and rice though too. Well, I already had rice, but chicken and sweet potatoes and rice to give him something more gentle to eat. But what I'm doing here is just smudging this out and giving myself slightly more defined clouds. Now I want the top section to be bumpier and the bottom just kind of fade out and be smoother. And I'm working with what's already there. I'm not trying to really create new clouds. Why make more work for myself? I'm just better defining what I've already got. Let's see. Art by Dr. B said, did you find another moderator for your MeWe? I don't know, did we guys? I don't remember what happened with that. I didn't even post. I was supposed to do another giveaway on MeWe last week, and I've totally just blanked out and forgot. So I need to get that done too. I pulled one. I think I'm going to do. I need to make sure I didn't already use it as a giveaway. I need to make a list and keep track of these, but I'll probably post that tomorrow as the plan. It's really pretty too. It's the moon. It's about the same size. I think it is the same size canvas as these, but it's the moon and grass. I'll show you later, but that will be for tomorrow. So see how using this brush that's just a little damp, remember too much and it's going to lift the paint. So that's not what we want. And I'm just softly going over here. Let's see. Brent said, any reason you're painting on a watercolor board rather than a canvas board? I'm sure you've already explained. I did, but I wasn't paying attention. Where were you? Yes, the watercolor canvas board, the gist of it, the short version, because I did already explain this today, is that it's very, very smooth. So it's a lot easier to get detail. And like the blending that I'm doing right now, this is a lot easier on this canvas than it would be on something rough. I'm not going to get this to blend quite as smooth as I'm doing here. So this almost looks like I'm doing like a wet into wet blending, this really soft look. And it's because I'm really not. It's just that this canvas is so smooth. The way that the paint glides across it is really nice. Just a little bit on the top there. Almost done with the clouds. See right there, it's technically starting to dry brush. It's getting rough. I don't know that you can see that on the live stream camera because they're crappy. So I'm going to add a little bit more water. Soften that out more. That's almost too much water. We'll make it work. Okay, and now we can go ahead and start the wave. I like it. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Clarified Art. She's our new MeWe mod. Okay. See, Great. No one tells me anything. Welcome. That makes sense because she kind of already knows everything we do. That worked. Maya said, love the flamingo and octopus painting. Thank you. It's my favorite. It's on my wall. It makes me happy to look at it. That one was easy too because I wasn't sure if I originally thought I was going to do fish. And I hung it on my wall before it was finished in the place that it was going to go just because it was big and I needed to get it out of the way. And when I'm able to sit there and look at it and go, no, I like it without fish. That's kind of an easy answer of should I add fish? If I like it on my own wall without adding something, if I'm not going to sit there and go, I wish I had done this. That's how you know it's done. Okay, so next layer, I'm going to be mixing phthalo blue and phthalo green to get teal. Now, I do have a teal. Should I make my life easier? Let's do one layer of just the teal paint to make my life, or it's turquoise. This one is the Liquitex turquoise blue. I'll just make my life a little easier and then I'll add the mixture. I get a better mixture of teal. There is no teal that is as good as what I mix with phthalo blue and phthalo green, but this will work for a base. Do you need out? You can tell he doesn't feel good that he's up and moving around. He does not do that normally when we live stream. I do not know what he did to upset his stomach. I don't know if he was eating like bird seed that dropped outside. I have no idea. Him and Wade eat the same thing. They go the same places like when we walk. So I have no idea what is setting him off. So I'm just going to pull this up here. But what was interesting, my neighbor was telling me their dog, they had me go let one of them outside. They were getting home late and they were worried about one of theirs because he has been having issues the last few mornings. And I'm wondering if something with all the rain, like washed into the yards, I don't know, Giardia, it could have been anything. So, but then none of the other dogs are having issues. So I don't know. I don't care if this is perfectly even because this side is going to get filled in by the waves. So you're not even going to see that it's uneven yet once this is in. I just want to get a base here. I don't even care if the like brush strokes, none of that matters right now. Art by Dr. B said, yes, I love the flamingo and octopus painting too. Just watched it this morning with my cup of tea. Yay! It kind of combined two of my husband's favorite that whenever I paint stuff, he always claims anything with octopuses. And I love the flamingo, so it kind of combined both our favorite things, which works. Jason said, does gesso help to create a more smooth surface on other canvases? It can, but you've got to sand it. So if you just apply gesso, it's actually going to create a bit more tooth usually. So you apply the gesso, let it dry, and then sand it with a fine sandpaper. So like somewhere between 2 and 3, 320, 220, 320. I've used both. They're about the same. But I'll lightly go over that after a couple of coats of gesso. And that will give a rougher canvas a very smooth surface. And I like the Liquitex gesso the best. Okay, so we will let that set. Let's see. Nick said, missed it. Which one of the boys isn't feeling well? Gibson. You can tell because he's kind of fussy and moving and not like... So his thing too, he had the upset stomach, but he's done this, well, not to this extreme, but he did in the past, like when he first, last year, when I feed twice a day, he would get an upset stomach because he needed more food like more frequently. It was empty. His stomach was emptying too soon and then he'd get sick from that. So I wonder if he ate grass because I went back to twice a day because I was feeding 3 times a day for the last year. And that pretty much meant somebody was always bugging me to be fed. And I was like, I can't, this is driving me insane. Because, I mean, they were just on my heels, tripping me, like, because it was almost always time to eat feeding 3 times a day. So I switched them to 2 times a day a couple months ago, and they've been doing fine. But I wonder, Gibson right now he won't take treats or anything. He didn't eat this morning. He ate last night, and this all started, was it yesterday morning or the morning before? I think it was yesterday morning. And he didn't eat, it was yesterday morning. He skipped breakfast. I gave him like very, very little. He wanted it, but I just gave him a little bit. And then I gave him a little bit last night. And now his stomach might be upset from just being too empty for too long. So it's going to be better. I want to withhold food for 24 hours. So he didn't eat this morning. Going to go ahead and withhold tonight. I'm going to make him some chicken and rice for tomorrow. So hopefully I can get him to eat that. And then if he's still not feeling well, because he's not super listless. Like, he'll still run around in the yard. Like, it's not affecting. I'd be worried if he was like all like totally doesn't like, you know, no energy or anything. He's not. I mean, someone goes to the door, anything like that, he's up and moving, but you can tell he's uncomfortable. His stomach is hurting, but it might at this point be hurting from being empty because he does not handle having an empty stomach well. And so, yeah, I'm talking about you. Yes, I know. Does not feel good. I'm sorry. So, yeah, we'll see. He is for some reason I got health insurance on him and not, I know why. I got health insurance on Gibson because it required an initial vet exam, and we got weighed during like the beginning of COVID, and you couldn't get into a vet at the time unless it was like an emergency. So I never got insurance on weight. Gibson's got insurance, so we can take him. If we need to go to emergency, you let me know. We'll take you. But I think we're good. Let's see. Yeah, things Kits Art picks. We all hope his stomach feels better soon. And with him, like I said, it could be an issue too of it being empty, but he's still having some bathroom stuff. So I'm thinking usually if a dog gets an upset stomach, you want to withhold food for about 24 hours, because 24 hours for a dog's that's like us skipping one meal. It's no big deal. So withhold it, let his stomach just calm down, let the inflammation go down, and see where you go from there. I mean, I can go in and have tests and stuff done at the vet, but realistically, it's a little early to be jumping to that conclusion. So what are you? I know it's warm in here, huh? So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, okay, let's try this. That just jumped. Where were we? What are you sniffing for? I see you sniffing around. Do you smell food? Let's see. Which artists inspire you? Oh gosh. I would say initially, like the first that like really inspired me would be Christian Lassen. So more modern, he does the marine life, and that's what I really based a lot of my work on very early on. So Christian Lassen for sure. But now, I mean, most artists, honestly, and I know this sounds super cheesy, most artists inspire me. Like, even if I see something and I'm like, maybe the technique I don't like as much, there's always going to be something in it that inspires me and gets me excited to paint. Like, whether it be that I like an aspect, like, that's such a cool, somebody posted, I think was it our MeWe group today that I saw it? Where did I see it? Creepy stairs. That inspired me. It was so cool. Like, anything, like the most random, and that was super random, and it was so like, I want to paint something creepy. That was cool. I don't know. I think, I mean, most art that I see to some extent or not will inspire me or give me ideas or make me excited. Like, it's I'm trying to think though. I mean, I've always loved Jason Morgan's stuff. Love his work. I really, Lena Daniel, if you have not checked out hers, oh my gosh, her paintings are beautiful. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Those are the two that like come to mind just because they're some of my YouTube friends here. But let me see, paying attention to what I'm doing here on the wave. Okay, so we've got our point. It's going to crash down. This is going to give us our fuzz in through here, the fluff, which is actually, you know what seafoam is, by the way? It's fish poop. Sometimes people poop. Hopefully more often than not fish poop. Depends on how we were taking care of our environment. But yeah, that is what seafoam is. So that pretty seafoam, you're walking on the beach and your feet are in the seafoam, and yeah, it's fish poop. Ew. It's nature's protein skimmer. Let's see. Nick said, mine eats grass. It's almost always ends up in a gloopy pile on the ground shortly after. Yeah, and he hasn't been, I don't think he has been eating grass. You're panting. Hold on, I'm going to let him out. It is not normal for him to be panting. Let me see if he needs to go outside. 1 second. You want out? Come here. you don't look like you're getting up. You need to go out. Thanks. You just ran me over. You happy now? Go lay down. Everyone lay down. Down. In your spots. You too. Good boy. Okay. Hopefully he'll be set for the rest of the night. We've reached the part where his body wants to expel, but there's nothing left to expel. So that's good. Hopefully then now he can start, it'll start calming down. You care? I know. I talk about animal feces way too much on this channel, like lately. I apologize. If it's not the frogs, it's the dogs. Let's see. Thanks, Angie. Yeah, we all hope he feels better. And why are you still panting? Well, he was panting. So see, he's not that sick because he was zooming around in the backyard picking his spots. So there we go. Let's see. Make sure, too, if you haven't already, you can enter for a chance to win this painting. I promise it's going to be pretty by the time I'm done. You enter for... Why is this so warm? Enter for a chance to win this painting over on our MeWe group. Link is in the video description. If I get a chance, check out Bob Fryer. I will. We should start a thread on our MeWe group of our favorite artists and, like, links to their websites. You can't link yourself. That's cheating. Somebody go start that. We can all share links to the website. Mine will be Christian Lawson. That's who I'm gonna share. Let's see. Sorry for the delay there. Art by Dr. B said, oh, is Gibson okay? Really get so worried when pets are unwell. I know, it super stresses me out. And I know, like, I used to work at the animal hospital. I was the person that people called on the phone and I had to tell them, yes, you need to bring your animal in. It's emergency. It's, you know, you can wait a little bit, whatever. And here I am on my own dog. I really struggle, and I've always had an issue with this. I always want to think everything's an emergency when it's mine. And it's like, I know that the answer is let him set for 24 hours with no food and see how he does. It just, he's got some inflammation in his stomach for whatever reason, and he's not showing any other concerning symptoms. So, you know, he's active, sort of, but not to the point. He's not inactive to the point where I would be concerned. So, yeah, you always struggle when it's your own. And it's funny because it's like, I know I'm being ridiculous and over worrying about stuff, but that's what we do when there are critters. Okay, so let's mix kind of a darker teal back here. So I've got black, phthalo blue, and phthalo green. At least I think it's phthalo blue. Who knows what's on the palette right now. It's the same colors that whatever I had out last week, so I think it's phthalo blue. So I just want something that's dark back here. And then we're gonna get a few highlights. So let's get some teal and some white. And I just wanna make sure they're going horizontally. Just the hint of some movement back there. Oops, too much. That works. Okay, that needs to dry. But I don't need to like dry it now. That can just sit on its own. Let's see. Yeah, Gibson got up quick. He's been waking me up every night, so it's part of why I'm so tired. But he's been waking me up. Like I have bells on my door in case because I sleep with the earplugs in, so it's very hard to wake me up. So there are bells. He is like wakes me up when he's got to go. And when you ask him that dog, he bolts to the door. Like he's not messing around. He's seriously a good dog though. He makes it's nice because my Italian Greyhounds would not have let me know. They would have just been like, the floor's fine, I'll just go here. Let's see, Everybody Dr. B, let's see. Oh, there, yeah, make sure if I'm missing somebody's comment, it looks like I'm missing some by reading these. You've got to do the Lachri fine art because it'll highlight my name in orange. If it doesn't highlight, I just don't see it. I'm not trying to ignore you, but that's what happens, I'm sorry. Andrea said when has critters, the poop conversations is always an issue. Yep. Elena said, I forgot your name. Do you still have a favorite sketchbook brand? No, not really. I don't use sketchbooks often, so that's not something that I'm really like, it's not my thing. I don't want the big brush. So maybe I'll use both. So yeah, I'm just not it's not that I'm like, I like when other people use sketchbooks. I just don't have time. So, I went through a phase a few years ago. I decided if I bought them, I just keep buying them and I would have, like, obviously I'm going to use them because I bought all these cool sketchbooks. It's so cool what other artists do. Like my friend Lena Danny, she uses them. She does these really cool sketchbook videos and I'm like, I want to do that. That inspires me. Yeah, and I didn't. I just don't have the time. I'm not certain that's phthalo blue. It's gooey, almost like ultramarine tends to be. I don't know. Whatever. It's coming out pretty, so I'm gonna go with it. It does not look like it looks on your screen. I'll see if I can adjust this later. We all know those problems that I have. I'm trying to get the colors to look right. So I'm gonna go higher than where I want the sea foam, aka fish poop. It's almost like I have an obsession with poop. It's weird. Let's see. No, I was working at a pet store in Southern California. If any of you were there in the 90s and remember Super Pets, it was the most, we had a Shark Tank. It was amazing. But anyway, the guy who ran our fish department, like we were not like Petco. The people who worked there had to know what they were talking about. So like I only worked in the bird department because that was my thing. And sometimes the dog department for dog food and stuff, but mainly it was birds. And you had to, so I need this, by the way, to be light and fade down to dark. So that's what I'm working on now. The guy who ran the fish department was an actual marine biologist. Like that, this was a serious pet store. It was amazing. It was in Montclair. Or was that technically Upland? Because it was like border Montclair, Upland. But anyway, on Mountain. Wait, was it Mountain? I think it was Mountain. Moving on. So that, also I'll tell you some dirty stories about Petco after that. That store, he was the one who told me that because I used to love going to the beach and I like walking in the sea foam, and he's like, you know what that is, right? And he was the one who got me set up with my first saltwater tank. And he's like, that's a protein skimmer. That's fish poop. Ruined it for me because you think of sea foam as being so pretty. And it just, I was like, why did you have to tell me that? So now I have to, it has become my life's mission to ruin it for everybody else. But yeah, so Petco, you want to hear about dirty Petcos. And this is just something that is very common in a lot of these business takeover type things. So this would have been around 95, 96, 97, somewhere around there. Super Pets, they had two locations. One was in, I think that was Upland, and then the other one was down closer to the beach. And Petco kept trying to buy them out. Petco was going around buying any like mom and pop smaller pet stores. Well, this was a big pet store, and I mean, it was always busy, like packed. People knew, the people who worked there knew, knew their stuff, all this. So this store was I'm going to get more green in there. So I think I'm going to let that, actually, no. Let's get some darks in there and then I'll come back and glaze green. So Petco kept trying to buy them out and they're like, no. They finally came in and said, we're going to open a store. This was the Montclair Petco at the time. So I think we were technically Upland. Then they put one right across the Montclair Plaza. And they said, we're going to open this store here. We're going to drop our dog food so low, we will go below our cost. We will put you out of business if you don't sell to us. We are going to do this because they were already building that store. And so finally the owners felt they really had no choice. They can't compete with that. And they sold out. And I wish that they had. Everyone was so mad. And even the customers were mad. They're like, we wouldn't have gone there. We wouldn't have used that. We hate Petco. Like, we would not have used it. But yeah, that's what made them, it forced them. I mean, I guess they paid for the business, but they were blackmailing them. Petco was dirty. And so now in California, so many Petcos have gone out of business, like so many. And it makes my heart sing. Be glad it's not my mouth that's singing because I have a horrible singing voice. But my gosh, it makes me happy after, like, Petco is... And it sucks because now the only pet stores you really find are big chains. You don't have a lot of small, like, cool pet stores anymore. You get fish stores, so that is different. You can get, like, the saltwater or any aquatic store that I go to. So those are cool. But, like, stuff that had, like, unique stuff for dogs and cats and stuff, we had everything in that store. And you don't find that much anymore because Petco and PetSmart did the same thing. I don't know any direct stories about that. I just know the place I was working at, what Petco had done. And it was really dirty. So not a whole lot of respect for them. And as they keep getting sold out, it's like, or, they've had to close some major stores in Southern California. It makes me happy. Anyway, Petco was, and then when they bought us, I worked for Petco because of that for several years till I found another job, but maybe not several years, but yeah, so some little drama story for you there about that. And Petco is bad too because it was ran by people like in corporate that didn't know a lot about animals. They knew like how to try to sell a product and they didn't care if it was the right product for the animal. So there were times where you should have been telling people, hey, someone would come in and say, I have this problem with my animal. And instead of saying that needs to be seen by a vet, Petco's main, their district managers would tell the store manager, you were basically to make up, here, take this medication. Just change their food. That'll fix it. And it was bad. So we're not going to worry about this yet. We're just worrying about this section in here. I'm going to see if I can alter the color a little bit to make this more accurate. And Nick said, I know what you mean about your dog being sick. I have a medical background, but every time Leo gets sick, exactly. Like it's just different when it's your own. What? Why are you up? Lay down. He doesn't feel good when he doesn't want treats. I can't say the actual word I gave him because Wade'll hear it and get up. But let's see if I can fix really quick the color. Why is this not popping up what I need it to? 1 second. Oh, that's why. Because I'm clicking the wrong thing. There we go. I need to look up there. I was watching a video where they were able to adjust some stuff that I can't adjust here. That was better. That is closer. That's actually pretty close. We'll just leave it with that. The color, mine's more teal. This looks more navy blue, but whatever. As long as you can see the contrast of the values, that really matters a lot more. Okay. Yeah, it's usually the weekend and it costs me $250 just to walk into the emergency vet. Well, luckily, and what is it? We're Wednesday now. So it wouldn't unless we decided to take him at night. But he's got health insurance, so that's a little bit more convenient. It's not as painful. All they're going to do a stool sample and blood work and give me ID, which is just a type of food that it's like easy to digest. And it's like I can do that at home by making him rice and chicken and sweet potato. I'll be cooking tonight because that's just what I wanted to do after a live stream. But it's a good thing I love you. So yeah, it's like, I know what it would do. The blood work would show nothing. He's young, he's not going to have any issues. Now the fecal might show. That's like giardia. My neighbor's dogs have had giardia in the past, so I don't know if that's something that's like in the water, and we've had all of these storms, so it's possible that washed through. But Wade doesn't have any symptoms. You know, that's a possibility. I don't think that's what it is. It hit too quick, but I'll give him a couple days. If he doesn't calm down, I'll definitely be taking a sample into the vet. But yeah. Tina said, my first greyhound had a bleeding disorder. Totally understand going to the vet all the time. Oh yeah, I've heard that with other greyhounds too. Jason said, Lisa, would you use gesso to make the paint look like it's a light refraction? No, gesso, I don't use gesso to paint. If I want white, I use white. The titanium white from Liquitex Basics, it's going to look like the rest of my paint. It just works better. I don't like gesso as a part. I know that some people paint with it and get results they like. That's fine. I don't like it in my work, so I just use white. There's no reason for me to use gesso versus white in that case. Let's see. I'm just getting caught up on some of these questions. Let's scroll too far. There we go. Andrea said, most of our small pet stores closed due to the COVID situation. I love the family-owned pet stores much better than the big stores. Me too. It sucks though. I did find a small like family type store, and their animals were so poorly taken care of. The bird had mites. They had a canary. Is it canary or finch? I don't remember now. I think it was their canary. They'll get mites that'll affect the scales, or it'll create scales essentially on the skin, like this thick, chunky. And it was one of those I looked at and went, oh, that's an issue. Like, it's something they could treat on their own. They don't even need to go to a vet. They need to treat the bird for the mites. And it's like they had some stuff. The nails were so overgrown. And I'm like, can someone just hand me a towel and the clippers? Let me take care of this, because, oh my gosh. Their birds were so in filth. Their fish, they had a fish section, filth. Everything in the store was dirty. And I'm like, not just like the stuff on the shelf, like boxes, just covered in dirt. And I was like, wow, that was disappointing, because I would like to see more little stores do well, but that was really disappointing. Other news though, I got to go this week. The people who I got my clownfish from, they're called Glass Aquatics. I got them 2 years ago. So my main places that I go to for my fish stuff are Glass Aquatics and, or that's where I started, but now I mostly go to Aqua Studios. They're closer to me. And yeah, so I got to go out. I knew that Glass Aquatics, he had told me they were working on the building. I didn't realize they got it. It's in the same parking lot, but a bigger building. I got to go and tour that this week. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for that to open. It's going to look so cool. They're doing actually, I don't even want to say everything because I don't know what I'm allowed to say. There's just some aspects I'll tell you guys about later, like what I know for sure. It's like they said about 6 weeks or so before they open, so I'm not sure what I'm allowed to share. I got a behind the scenes tour. It was really cool. So that's really cool. I like seeing a lot of these smaller fish stores succeed where the other pet stores don't, but it's like Petco and PetSmart, they're not competing with that, so they're not buying those stores out, thank God. But it's really cool to see that sort of store upgrading and improving. I know Aqua Studios has some plans for some upgrades there, which is really cool. So yeah, I was pretty excited about that. But seeing like all of the stuff that the changes they've made and upgrades, and it was really cool. I'm gonna put a little bit, just a glaze here, a phthalo green in the water, right in here. Okay, now we're going to have to start creating some of our fish poop. Actually, while that needs to dry, so let's get our lines here. So here I can just start with the lighter teal. And I want to make sure that this curves. So if I have streaks, they need to curve down because I want it to look like this wave is crashing over. It's very important that you don't do straight lines or it's going to look flat. We want to curve. So we'll get some highlights in here and pull that over. And we'll define these better later, but I can get the shape started now. So yeah, a lot of the fish stores, well, some have closed down, but seeing some of them that have done well is really cool to see, for sure. Let's see. Kind of mid-range color in here. And then we'll lighten up again at the bottom. And then we'll just let that set. We've got more details to do there, but that can dry now. Let's see. Angie's Creative Studio said, we have a dog that needs to be groomed a few times a year, but it's so hard to find a good groomer. Are those closing? Do you still have smaller? I've never had a breed that needed to go to a groomer. I wonder if are those still closing down to where all you've got our Petco and PetSmarts for those? Because that sucks. Let's see. Brent said, our local pet store had a bad fire. Wouldn't go into detail, but it was a sad situation. Oh, no, that's not good. Let's see. Lori said, is there a Lachri's aquarium on MeWe? Really great for decompressing. There's not, but there are aquarium groups already on MeWe. The thing is, they're not active at all. Like the one aquarium group, it's like aquarium enthusiasts, and most of the people who post have like salt or have freshwater fish with like fake plants. I'm sorry, you're not a real hobbyist at that point. Like you're just getting your toes wet. Oh look, it's a pun on accident, but it's not like I don't know. There are levels of fish keeping. You have, I got a fish tank and threw in some plastic bright colored plants and some fish that probably shouldn't go together. And when the tank gets dirty, I do a 100% water change and clean everything out. That's like your basic level of not educated at all. Then you have people who do the planted aquariums in salt or in freshwater, and then you've got your people who do reef and coral. Like those, the good planted ones can be difficult. So I'd say they're about the same as that. But most of the people in the aquarium enthusiasts one are your fake plants, like group. They're not. Yes, it's not very inspiring to like really. I post it every once in a while in those, but. D-Link Creative Art said, our gray kept us most of the night with a double ear infection. I thought she was going to physically shake her head off. Aw, poor thing. LA for Dreams said, enjoy watching you paint. It's very relaxing. Oh, yay. Wendy said, on your website, you have a picture of an orca at the bottom. I was looking for a print, or if you let us get custom diamond painting of the image. Which one? What? Hold on. At the bottom? Which one? I don't think I have any orcas at the bottom. Oh wait, I'm looking under gallery though. I don't know which one you're looking. Oddly enough, my website's open because I was looking for the other one. Which one are you looking at? I don't see which one you're. Oh, is it for the email newsletter? Do I not have prints of that? I think I have prints. If you go to shop, go to prints. I thought it was in there. Is it not? It should be. I'm looking really quick to see. Oh, I forgot I had all these prints in here. Have you guys looked at my print shop? I didn't know there was that many. Oh, this painting is actually, the wave that this is from is in there. There are a lot of pages. Yeah, it's in there. Felicity is what it's named. I don't even know why I named it that. It was years ago, but that one is available as prints over there. Let's see. Whoop, that just jumped. Angie said, pretty much they are all going to Petco, etc. Ugh, I don't like that. Nick said, honestly, all the MeWe groups I've joined, the Lachri artist group is the most active. It really is. It's huge, too. We have one of the biggest art groups on MeWe, like by a lot. So that's pretty cool. We are definitely doing good over there. But, I mean, we had our practice on Facebook, so we knew how to run a group. And by we, I mean all of you guys didn't really do anything. But... So I'm going to take white and start putting in the veins in the wave. And what I want this to do is kind of have a curve. So it'll be curving this way. So it looks like that part of the water is lifting from the rest of it. And I can glaze and tone this down or make things darker, brighter, whatever I need. I'm using a round brush. This is a Simply Simmons brush. I actually really like these. They're cheap and they work well. Oops, that just jumped. Where are we? Elena said, are you painting or planning on doing a painting of furry animals? I'm pretty bad at the hair texture. Love the your tutorials. Yeah, always. I really do I am a fan of fur, so definitely. I mean, it wouldn't be on a live stream most likely just because that's more time consuming and I'm trying to get these done quickly. Unless we did a one live stream where that would be a long giveaway. You would be able to enter for 2 weeks. Well, we finish the painting. So as I get down here, we'll start straightening out, and I'll switch to a different brush for that. Michael said, we are almost at 2,600 as of last check. Yeah, the MeWe group, our MeWe group is very, very active. And that's the thing, if you join MeWe, a lot of our friends aren't there. I know a lot of most of my friends aren't there. My mom is, so I can say one of my family members joined. So she's a big fan of Glitch, so she likes to see updates on Glitch. But we have... Your regular timeline may not be super busy until our friends and family figure out MeWe is a better location for them. But if you join different groups, if you can find groups that are active, that's really cool. And that's one of the things that's definitely, you're right, Nick, I'm seeing the same thing with these groups. I'm in a lot of frog groups and different things. And there are people who sell things, which is cool because you're actually allowed to sell pets on, so like fish or whatever betas can be sold on MeWe where you can't on Facebook and their PETA overlords. Like seriously, PETA got involved, and that's why that stopped. So, let's see. Sorry, I'm getting distracted as I'm looking at what needs to be done next. Yeah, the other groups aren't as quite as active, but if you join groups, that'll help MeWe to be more for you to look at. We have Lachri's Leaves, which is our plant group. So like plant gardening, anything like that, you can join for that one. That one's actually fairly active. We've got some cool photos that people post. So I need to make sure this is curved. Okay, I'm going to switch to a flat brush. Oh, good, I have one out. That was kind of a Christmas miracle. I didn't think I would. So, wait, that one's a filbert. Where's the flat? The flat, I don't use flat brushes often, but in this case, this is going to make it easier for me. Get this done faster. For the type of brush stroke I'm going to do. Larry said, oh no, not plastic plants. Just want to view your beautiful aquarium. Yeah, no, I mean, I need to post more updates of that for sure. I really want MeWe. I hope that they end up having the ability to live stream. Cause that's like my only thing, like my main, like complaint, I guess, or main like wish for that platform would be the ability to live stream. But then again, if I do a live stream, like doing digital painting, I can do a camera up on the tanks too. I've done that before in the office, so maybe I'll do that because we have somewhere we'll be designing some stuff soon. Maybe I can't do it for the day ones, but the night ones, I could put a camera on one of the tanks. So notice that the majority of my lines here, they're long horizontal, short diagonal. That's really the movement that you want to capture. But it's important to see how this is flattened out. So we have the wave that curves up, and then these lines are all the more flattened out areas. And you want to get some variation so that some are thicker and some are thinner. Whoops, knocking stuff over. Yeah, there's a saltwater group. But even that, people don't post in that often. But then again, am I not one that's just as guilty? Because I don't post in it that often either. So I think that's going to be the thing with MeWe is just remembering to go post in some of these groups, being active, being a part of those groups will get more people wanting to use the platform because it's not an issue. Like everyone talks about, for years, we wanted an alternative to Facebook. The problem is getting people off Facebook to use another platform because Google Plus was actually a really good platform and that left because, people didn't use it that much. So that's how we found MeWe, was looking for an alternative to that. But we've got to use it. We've got to be active. So I use my own account. You're welcome to join my private account. So that's where I post more of like my fish, my frogs, all of that regularly. But yeah, we definitely, I think all of us, the more active we are in different art groups, in different pet groups, whatever it is that we're joining. We've got a Greyhound group over there. Break some of these up so I get some different textures there, or different widths, not textures. So I'm keeping this really simple, just because, you know, live stream, time-wise. You can go through and get really detailed on the foam, the sea foam. Fish poop. And I'll probably sit and fuss over it after I get a little bit more work on this, on the foamy part. Wendy said, okay, I'll look for Felicity. I did go through all, but not knowing any search parameters. If I buy, can I use the image to get diamond painting mode? No, it's not set up for that. I don't even know how I would make that happen. That would be buying a print, not like rights to make prints yourself, if that makes sense. Shelly said, I only have 2 of my Facebook friends on MeWe, and I don't even care. I find our groups more interesting, and I'm enjoying meeting others there. You know, it's funny. Even when I was on Facebook, half my friends, more than half my friends, most of them I had hidden. Because they post things, and I'm like, please, you're making me lose respect for you. Stop posting things like that. So I'm not unhappy with it. There are a few friends, a few of my, you know, the fish groups and stuff that I would like to keep up with a little bit more, but not enough that I'm going to keep using Facebook. I just don't use it. I check in, and I need to check in a little bit more often than I do, but not a fan. So we're going to dab through here. This section comes down. Now this is just white paint. We'll add glazing to get the shadows and such later. Actually, I probably should have put some of the green in there first, but whatever. Red says seafoam green will now and forever be called fish poop green. See, I'm ruining it for everybody else. It was ruined for me. Now I'm all weird about it. Have to share the disgust, I guess, or the, I don't know. There's something like seafoam seemed like this magical thing, and then oh, it's a protein skimmer. Much less magical. D-Lin Creative Art said, have you decided on what size picture to put over your reef tank? I've not. And like, people keep bringing up pretty much the same arguments I've had with myself. Like, oh, you shouldn't go round because nothing in there is round. Or you should go round because the contrast and it look like bubbles. Like, and I think I'm going to take a photo and Photoshop like some ideas and see what that looks like. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I'll just take it down and change it with other paintings if I don't like it. No, I'm making a bigger deal out of it than I need to. What, me? Making too big of a deal out of something? That's unusual. It's not unusual at all. But yeah, I'm anxious to start some stuff for it. I'll definitely have to do some as oil paintings because I've not done an oil painting for Patreon and Subscribestar in a really long time. Also, and I forgot to mention this, if you are looking for just a straight painting tutorial and you're like complaining that I talk too much, well, you probably didn't make it this far into the video anyway. But for those, if somebody did, it usually happens after the live stream. These are artist hangouts. If you want just straight tutorials, I've got my Patreon for as little as $4 a month. You get access to all of my longer, I've got a new one every single week, 1 to 2 hours long normally, lots of real time in there. My just straight tutorials, not me rambling about fish poop or dogs or whatever. It's just an art lesson. If that's what you're looking for, then that Patreon and Subscribestar are going to be a better fit for you. They're both the same. You don't need to sign up for both. I just didn't want to have all my eggs in the one basket in case something happened with Patreon because they got themselves into some legal trouble with some of their stuff they did. And that's how I pay my house payment. So I didn't want to risk it. So we have a backup in case anything ever happened. Elena said, I just got a MeWe. How can I find the group? I'd love to make some art friends. So the group, it's linked in the video description. So if you click that again, so you probably are signed in now. If you click it now it should just take you to the group. Or if you just look up Lachri Artist Group. I was trying to think of like clever names for Facebook instead of Facebook. I haven't thought of any that aren't super, they would just offend people. So I'm still looking for something clever to call it. Let me know if you have suggestions. Most of them were not appropriate. Cat's Art Pig said, is that a stiff brush you were using to make the water show splashing? Yes, it is. I should have pointed that out. So this is the super cheapy. You get them at any art supply store or Amazon. It is this cheap, I think it's supposed to be like a Taklon bristled brush, or I'm sorry, a synthetic hog hair type. I don't know. They don't even give it a name. It's just stiff, and they come in packs, usually a whole bunch. They usually will come in packs of round and flat together in one. Sometimes it's one or the other. And the more damage they get, so I don't wash these very well, the more stiff they get, the better they work for these techniques. I use them for bushes, I use them for sea foam, I use them for a few different things. I love them for this. And I have yet to find a brush that I liked more. At least for this, I mean. Now, don't overdo this. We want to have variation. And I'm going to come over and glaze some stuff, so it's not that big of a deal, but actually what I'm going to do is splatter some of this now. Actually, I take it back. I'm going to dry it, do a glaze, then splatter. Jason said, at least everyone knows there's a lot of different stuff in large bodies of water. Yeah, unfortunately, it's often from people. What the seafoam is doing, it's like it brings certain nutrients from we'll call it nutrients, it's fish poop. It brings stuff like that, waste, and it pushes it out onto it removes it, it pushes it out. That is what it does. Same thing as our protein skimmer in our tanks. Andrea said, maybe a mural of an ocean reef on the actual wall. Nope. Above the tank. I thought of doing that for my tank. So here's the thing. A couple things I have with murals. One, I typically don't think I don't think they look classy. I think it looks better if you have a painting that's framed or a painting hanging on the wall. You can change it out and it just looks like laser. The only reason I have this mural in here is I needed the backdrop for the videos and for when I take photos. I don't like the look of murals on most walls. It is very rare I see a mural and think, oh, I'd want that in my home. Usually when I see them, I'm like, oh, that's kind of tacky. I don't like it. I mean, in kids' rooms, sure, but even that, it's not my personal taste. So I really like home decor stuff, and murals, it's not the 90s anymore. It's not my thing. I've done them, and I've done ones that I was really proud of, and I still don't want it in my home. Even ocean ones. I would much rather have paintings, even large paintings, than the wall. Plus, so let's back that up even further. I can't paint around that tank. That is would be the biggest nightmare. My walls are very textured. So that's going to be another problem. Trying to get the quality of paint I want on a textured wall is not going to look good. So there are many reasons that I'm just not a fan of murals, which is funny because I used to be a mural artist. That's one of the ways I used to make money. And no matter how good of a job I did and how proud I was, I never looked at it and thought, I want that in my house. Never. I just don't, I feel like it almost turns it into something that looks very commercial instead of home. Now, there was a time that I did consider doing in my home a kind of mural, and it was only going to be about 12 inches and just a stripe across the wall. I have a really long entry hallway. I ended up doing the shiplap, which was my preference. But I was considering before doing that, because I was like, that's out of my skill set. I don't know who I'm going to have do shiplap. Luckily, my neighbor was able to. But I was considering doing just like a racing stripe down the middle of the wall, and it would be all ocean themed, but it wouldn't be the whole top to bottom wall. So I think there is a way to do murals and make it look nice, but more often than not, I feel like it's kind of this tacky commercial feel, like a restaurant that it's not, it does not go with my style, I guess I should say. Joseph said, just call it MySpace because it's dying. Face space, is that what Nick was calling it? Tammy said, call it Fight Club or Dramaville. Yeah, right. Dylan Creative Art said, instead of painting something, you can hang some driftwood. I did that and had to think, now that would be cool. That would look absolutely, now that's my style. That's something, if I found the right piece of driftwood or something, oh, yeah. Oh, and actually, I have a friend who does these really cool, she has a business, Kendra, it's Test Depth Woodworking, Test Depth, I think. They've got a business, unfortunately, they're mainly running it on Scambook. Scambook? I don't think it's quite there yet. I'll run with this. But they do these woodworking, one of them is this layered image, and she does some marine life because they're into reef keeping as well. Oh, they've got some amazing work. So maybe that would be something to commission. Rob said, are you using titanium white or mixing white? I'm using titanium white. Mixing white would not, transparent mixing white would be too thin. I want opaque, bright white. Let's see. Yeah. Joseph says driftwood, hard to find when you're a 5-day drive from the beach. LOL, Texas. Yeah. You could probably buy it or order it though. Bookface. Okay, let's see. Let's get some green in there. I'm going again with a bit of, well, I'm getting some phthalo green. Got a bit of phthalo blue or ultramarine blue. I still don't know what is on my palette because it was from whatever I last used. I'm just going to get a bit of shading in here. Okay. Did you hear the air bubble that came up through my throat? It wasn't, I don't call that a burp. It didn't, like, it was weird. It was classy. Let's see. That, I'm going to add a little bit of black to it to kind of muddy it up. Fake book, yeah. Oh, that's a little bit too thick, but I bet I can just smudge it out. Yeah. So I want to get a shadow right under these. I'm going to just pull that up a little bit into the sea film. It can basically go both directions, but get that shadow there. I'm going to create a bit of a shadow, and I'll have to come back through with white, but I want to create a bit more depth in here so it's not flat white. Everything when you're painting, remember, it's always a layering process. This is not paint by number, put the right color in the right place. If you do that, it comes out looking very flat. By coming back through and adding additional layers like this, and then I'll come back through with white again, I'm able to create a lot more depth than I otherwise would just leaving white. You don't want to, just because color is on the thing, just because fish poop is already painted on it, doesn't mean it's finished. We gotta go through and shade stuff. Mildred said, I know someone who did several pieces on old hand saws. Oh, I've seen that. It looks so cool. I know it's not your style, but that's what popped in my head hearing about the driftwood. Yeah, I've seen those. My grandparents, actually, I remember them having some on their wall. It was, I want to say it was a train or an old bridge or something. I don't remember what it was. Maybe they had both, but it was really cool. So I'm kind of breaking these up, little clusters. If you haven't already, you've still got time to enter our giveaway over on our MeWe art group. You cannot enter by messaging me or on my personal page. I just don't, the entry won't go through. If you want the entry, you've got to go over to our art group. And you've still got time to enter. Well, unless you're not watching this live. If you're watching it live, you've got time to enter. If you're watching this after the fact, that this is already done. But we have lots of giveaways, so don't worry. And I already picked out tomorrow's giveaway. Getting a little bit more of a shadow here so I create more where that curves up. Looks better in person. It just looks black on there. It's actually a dark green. Gothic, I said, I mainly paint in watercolor, but you inspired me to start acrylic painting. Nice! Acrylics are like acrylics were my first love. Well, actually, technically, I got started with art using like chalk or charcoal that you would buy like for chalkboards, and watercolor. So I do like an underpainting with that and use the pastel chalk or charcoal, like black charcoal. That's kind of where I really started, but then acrylics. Jason said, isn't the wave too light for the clouds lighting? When have you known me to care about any of that? When was that ever an issue? And you have no idea if there's light shining through wherever. So I don't follow rules. We all know that. Okay, I'm going to splatter a little bit of white paint. So we're going to get some, make it look like the paint or the ocean wave. You've got that mist. That to be a little bit thicker white. Got a bit too much water there. Okay. Now, I'll use the same brush for some of the streaks coming down. Yeah, that works. Actually, I'm going to use this for some dry brushing too. because I'm too lazy to switch brushes, and this works. Jeez, I'm almost done with this. I finished this sooner than I thought I would. I painted this style of wave so many times. It's a simplified version, so it's not the super, super realistic. It's a more stylized wave, but I've painted it so many times. I've apparently painted a lot faster than I thought I would. I thought I would have to like focus and get stuff done, and so I was trying to get more painting done and less talking. So go ahead and ask questions. We can chat because I apparently have plenty of time. We'll just fuss over little details then, which is fun. Nick said, mist or nebulized fish poop? I've ruined everyone. I wish I still had contact with the marine biologist. His name was Mike or Michael. Mike, what was his last name? If I remembered, I could look him up on Facebook. Just kidding. I wouldn't use Facebook, but I could look him up, and I don't remember what his name was. My mom worked there too. I wonder if she'd remember his name. Cool guy was dating a psycho who also worked there. Her name was Cassandra. She was batshit. I didn't swear. Bat shrimp. That's what I said. Insane. Her dad worked for, these are more Petco stories. Her dad worked for Nutro, and so she was convinced, the dog food, she was convinced that was the most like, this is the only good dog food. And it's a decent dog food. I mean, if you're going to feed kibble, I guess it's a decent dog food. But she was like fanatical. Like she wasn't a nice lady. And unfortunately, when Petco bought us out and I switched to the Petco that was right, like pretty much across the street from my parents' house, nearly anyway, it was like a 5-minute walk, she came too. I just couldn't get away from her. Jason said, yes, but, oh, wait, I'm talking to you. Never mind. You have seen waves, so it doesn't matter. Joseph said, I heard sheet. If you heard something else, get your hearing checked. It was shrimp. Bat shrimp crazy. Oh my God, I'm going to start saying that all the time now. So I'm going through the thing. I'm trying to swear less. The F word is my favorite word. I need to stop that. Because we had friends over, and anytime if I drink more, 2 glasses of wine, no problem. If I drink any more than that, the F word is just like the only word I use. It just, all the other words are gone. And I don't know why I do that, but it gets bad. So I've decided if I just remove that word from my vocabulary, then when I am around friends in that sort of, we're drinking too much wine environment, which I don't do often, but still, let's back off that. Self-improvement. I can do it. So I've decided to cut that from my vocabulary altogether. Every once in a while I slip, but now that I've decided that's it. It is not a part. And when I use it, it's like, I feel like I use the highlighter on it. It just stands out because I'm trying so hard not to use that word anymore. But the other word, I'm going to start saying shrimp all the time. Like all the time. I think that's going to be the thing. Bat shrimp crazy. I like it like a lot because it's random and I like shrimp. So, that I have a shrimp. Dealing Creatives Art said, change the F word to fudge. I did that and it worked. I use freak. Freak and freaking are like my main go-to. So I'm okay with that. I just have to remember, I have to keep on myself about it. And it's definitely working. I'd say I'm 95% good. About 5% of the time I still slip up, but I'm doing much better. Susan said, you could call these a form of phosphorus waves. In Thailand, the waves would glow in the dark, even on nights when there was little moonlight. The darker the night, the better the glow. Yeah, it's from like a phytoplankton kind of that gets in the water and they glow. Yeah, it's a thing. I like it. Brenta's Art said, glad to hear I'm not the only one that drinks then F-bombs everything. Yeah, I don't know why I do that. I'm not opposed to swearing. It's just to the point where when you catch when I edit videos, I catch myself where I'll say kind of too much, or if I say the word like too much. These little filler words, you become very aware of it, and I like to cut those words from my vocabulary as much as possible because I don't like it. And that was kind of the thing in this case. I don't know why that's the only word I say anymore when I've had extra wine. So, and my husband pointed out, he goes, you said that a lot tonight. I'm like, I know, and I know I'm doing it and I can't stop. So that's why I've decided the best solution is just to remove it from my vocabulary. And it is going well so far. Like I said, I slipped a couple of times, but for the most part, there's been improvement. D said, Lynn Creative Art said, nope, freak is too close for me. I would just throw that out the F-bomb instead. Well, I'm used to saying freak a lot, so I think that's why it's been an easier transition for me, because it's already something I say all the time. So I think I'm okay. Well, we'll see. Well, I don't know. Let's see. I learned so much from you, Lisa. I just pray that you and your family are safe and keep inspiring us with your art for decades to come. Very few artists explain the details like you do. Oh, thank you. Oh, I just got goosebumps. Thank you. That makes me so happy. Well, the goosebumps are still here. Andrea said, I try not to say the bad words, but I gave up. I'm way too old to change now. Well, I am not opposed to necessarily bad words. Like, my favorite word is still a 4-letter word that starts with C. And I think it's hilarious. It is my favorite. I call everything that now. I can't, it would offend so many people because, but I don't know why. I just think it's funny. Maybe because it's so offensive. So I'm not like, it's just that these certain words, I got to the point where I was using them like every other word. It was almost like a filler word for me. And no, just stop. Just stop. Cat's Heart Pig said, have you tried the metallic acrylic paints? Wondering if they are cool to work with. Okay, so yes, but there's no information. So they don't have any, it just says they're not light fast, but I don't know if that means, do they fade? I don't know. It's metallic and I don't know how it's made and I don't understand them. And so I don't want to give you a lot of information on it. I used the gold metallic both for the airbrush paint and then my gold, I've got Liquitex Basics in gold somewhere over here. Yeah, here it is. I've got that one and it just, oh, this one has light fast 3 stars. Translate. Wait, why do you have translate? Pigment titanium. So this one has 3 stars. I thought these ones weren't. I don't know. I need to do some research. I just have not looked that far into the metallic stuff. I think that they're beautiful and I do like the look, but I don't know enough to like say, yeah, it's safe, go use it, or it's not. I just don't know. If someone else has done the research, let me know, but I need to look on that. Shelly said, oh, Flipper might replace the F-bomb. Maybe. I don't know. It's not a part of, I think freak is easier for me to like switch over. Yeah, see, Joseph said because you're not British or Australian, the word is pleasantry in those places. See, and that's what got me started, is watching stuff with people from those areas who use it. And I don't know why. I just thought it was hilarious. So now it's like my favorite. Rob said the glowing plankton is called bioluminescence. Yes, and it's actually, oddly enough, that luminance is that the bioluminescence, whatever. It's the same, the coral, where I showed at the end of the video where it glows. Yeah, coral and some of these things in the ocean are, they're aliens. They're from outer space for sure. Lori said F-bombs. Who needs to drink for that? Not me. Well, neither did I. But the problem was it turned in, you know, when you listen to somebody and they have filler words where they're like, and like you're just like, spit it out. That is me with the F word. For some reason, I developed like a speech issue where it's a filler. It's it's bad. So, and I don't know why I do that. So yeah, when I use it, my normal discussion, I would say it's an appropriate amount. When I've had more than 2 glasses of wine, there's no appropriate amount. Like that is the only word I'm saying pretty much. It's bad. Susan said, let's see, I was going to say the same thing. Lisa is becoming an Aussie. Welcome to the dark side. You guys have the best critters, so let's see. I think I can add a few more shadows and such under some of these. Get a little bit more bright on these. Oh, yes, get some more clumps and clusters here. We'll be choosing, we've only got a few minutes before we choose the winner for this painting. So make sure you've entered. If you are watching this as a replay, this is Friday, no, this is not Friday night. This is Wednesday night, 9:30 Central Time. If you are watching any other time than that, Wednesday the 19th, it's over. This giveaway is done. There's no entering. But I have giveaways all the time on MeWe now, like once a week at least besides these. So I guess that makes it twice a week, except last week because I failed. But we do have other giveaways, so keep your eyes open for those. Only on MeWe, because Facebook sucks, and I don't trust them with anything to do with my business anymore. Other than telling them, like, I'll still post on Facebook, hey, I've got this over on YouTube. Hey, I got this over on MeWe, but that's about it. Like, no original content for Facebook anymore. Failbook? I don't know. That might work. D-Link Creative Arts said, my high school teacher would say at least 50 times in a 45-minute class, would count the ums instead of listen. I failed the class. See, exactly. It gets really distracting. And that's what was, yes. I can't, it drives me crazy listening to when someone speaks like that. And so for me to catch that I'm doing it, and of all words, that's the one I'm going to go with as my, and when you use it that often, it takes away from the impact it could have otherwise if you use it more sparingly. So, you know, Kevin Z said, I've heard that people that swear have a high IQ. I mean, I do. So it makes sense. Is that, no, that's not bragging. It just is. Andrea Shaw said, what I want to know is who said the bad words were bad, right? You can replace the F word with freaking, but what's the difference? I have had this dilemma with myself so many times because it means the same thing. Like I'm using it in the same context. So what difference does it make? You don't know. You are, yes, it's funny that you say that because that is something that I seriously debate with myself on a lot on different things. Like, why is that bad? It was actually funny. I was talking to my neighbor. They're due next week. They're having their baby. And I was laughing. I'm like, over the next year, I have to stop swearing at my dogs. I swear a lot. So I'm outside and I'm like, hey, you little shrimp. We'll go with that. I'll say different things. And I'm like, when your kid is out here, I've got to stop doing that because I don't want to be swearing in front of kids. Like, that's one thing I don't do at all. Like, I really don't want to do. So he was laughing. He goes, yeah, we're in the same boat because they swear all the time too. We're like, we're all going to have to stop swearing because you decided to have a baby. But let's see. Oh my gosh, WinSGWW, thank you for this super chat. Holy crap. Thank you so much for everything you do. You keep me saying, oh, goosebumps, super chat goosebumps. Thank you. Oh. I'm like, wow, these are good. I got good. Words are hard. Goosebumps twice tonight. Thank you. Oh, I'm going to cry. Hey, Epic Gamer. Phyllis said, my anniversary is today. 42 years. Yikes. I thought I'd throw that out there. Congratulations. That's so awesome. We're going to be 21 years is our wedding anniversary this year. My husband, I keep having dreams for some reason where he's let me know he's divorcing me. I'm bored. Like, he's not mad at me. He's just like, meh, I don't want to be married anymore. And this has been an ongoing thing. So it's a joke because I always tell him about that. And so he's always joking about when he's going to leave me. So he better be joking. But he told me today, he goes, yeah, it's supposed to be 10 years is your max. I've given you an extra 10 years so I can be done now. Like, oh my gosh. Congratulations, Phyllis. That is so awesome. I really hope that's me. Did you know, by the way, because I'm pretty much done with this, so we'll just talk. Did you know that the guy from The Cure, so I'm aging myself, he's still married to his wife, who he's been married to all these years. They've been married forever, and like most of his love songs, most of the songs, I guess, were about her. Matt was just telling me that. I may have some of the details wrong in there because he was telling it to me, so that's probably somewhat off. But go look that up. I was like, that is the cutest thing. Like, I already love The Cure, but I really love them now. That is, let's see. Susan said, my least favorite word, nice, ew, seriously, hate that word. My least favorite word, nice, ew, seriously, hate that word. LOL, so lame. And beige, if you ever want to offend, call me. Oh, nice, the word nice. I'm like, I'm not reading this properly. I do say nice a lot, where it's like, oh, cool, or oh, nice. I do say that a lot. That's funny. I have your typical like aversion to certain words. Aversion. And I'm gonna have to look that up because I don't remember which one it is. But yeah, I have those like moist I hate, and it sucks because sometimes that word really is the best word for certain things to do with art and how the brush needs to be, and I try to use damp when possible. Cream is another one I hate. So it's the typical ones that most people don't like. But I don't have any that are really like unusual, I don't think. Nice is funny though, because I've not heard of anyone who hated that one. When SGW said your husband is hilarious. Yeah, he thinks so. He tells me how hilarious he is on a regular basis, actually. Phyllis said, you two, I'm sure you two will be married a long time. You two sound like you were made for each other. I think so. Also, I told him I'd kill him if he left me, so, there's the murder threat. I'm kidding, Facebook. Don't ban me. Barbara said, this is my first time watching you. You're adorable. Have me laughing. I joined your Patreon. Love this painting too. Oh, thank you. Oh, goosebumps. That's my third goosebumps tonight. Apparently, I'm just going to get goosebumps all night every time somebody is like nice to me. I don't know why I do that. Okay. Where are we at? Oops, Nick, do you want to... Oh. My phone is not, my fingers are wet, and so I'm the thumbnail, whatever. It's not waking on my phone. Let's see. Nick, if you're watching, do you want to choose a winner? So the winner is being chosen with random.org. So he just uses that, how many entries there were, and then lets me know who the winner was. So it's completely random. Has to be in the US just because I feel sad. But because shipping outside the US is a pain, and right now it's just not happening right now. So let's see. Shelley said, my daughter hates the word moist and ointment. Ointment doesn't bug me as much. Maybe it's just I'm used to that from working in the animal hospital. Corey said, hi, Miss Lachri. I turned 12. Don't tell people your age, sweetie. At least you're not a minor as far as YouTube goes, because I am not a children's channel. Thank you very much. Don't tell people online your age. It's a bad idea. Let's see. While we wait for Nick. I think Nick's still here. I don't know how he got suckered into being the one who has to choose. Let's go ahead and I'm going to just throw in some darker values in here. I need to sign it soon too. If you guys have questions, let me know, because I'm basically kind of killing time on this because it's pretty much where I needed it to be tonight. Let's see. I found you when you gave a tip for SpectraFix usage. Finding the right fixative is tough. Oh, that's awesome. It's funny, you make these videos sometimes and I'm like, it's not that big of a deal, like that video, but then that's how some people find you, as something that seems like I wouldn't have thought that wouldn't be that interesting to many. I need to do more Q&As. Actually, I should do one tomorrow. I just need to get some in there. I haven't gotten... So this is kind of annoying. I don't know why Google does this. My emails, they've been filtering when someone submits a question, and I don't know how many I've missed, because I just figured that this was happening out recently. When someone submits a question for some reason, they've been putting it in my spam folder. I'm like, how many frequently asked question things have I missed? So, if I haven't done yours, try sending another. I've been watching my spam folder now. I can't believe how many things are like when I've ordered things and my confirmation that I paid or whatever has gone to my spam folder. Why would you do? How is your algorithm so crappy, or shrimpy, we'll say? Shrimp book? Can we call it shrimp book? But maybe. How is your algorithm so crappy that you're putting order confirmations in the spam folder? Like, how do you not know? Like, that makes no sense. I don't get it. Andrea said, I hate the word awesome, or maybe just because people use it way too much. I definitely use it too much. I get that. Andrea said, I'm going to have to try painting this. Love it. Yay. It's really an easy design too. I'll have to post a finished painting because this photo's not terrible. Mine's just more teal is the main difference on the two. This actually is a decent an oddly decent representation of this, other than that mine's teal and that one looks navy blue. But it's a really easy design. So it's a much more stylized wave. It's not going to be your super, super realistic, but it's a fun, just, fun when you just want to paint a wave, an easy wave. Gibson must feel better after going outside. He's been pretty calm. D-Link Creative Art said, my uncle couldn't stand the word dude. I don't like it either. I only use it when I'm mocking somebody. Since he was only a few years older than me, guess what word I would use all the time around him? Andrew said, switch from awesome to the F word. That's my normal go-to. I'm trying to break that. Clark Fighter said, I just ordered SpectraFix 2 after watching your pan pastel video that you talked about it. Figured you and Jason Morgan recommended it was the way I would go for my new pastels. He's the one who got me on. No, I wouldn't say just him though. Some of you guys had really recommended it too, but between you guys and then Jason Morgan, I was like, yep, sold, I'm buying it. Oh, winner has been messaged. Okay, are you guys ready? Let's see who won. I like when he picks it because there's no chance of me going, I'm going to play favorites. I mean, I don't do that anyway, but you know, it was always tempting. Let's see. Okay. Oh, you wrote all that out? No, okay, that was the older one. I was going to say that took forever. So the winner is from, not the first one, he had that wrong, Wisconsin. Donna Rowley, congratulations. You are getting a wave painting. This doesn't go with Wisconsin theme. Well, you've got lakes up there. It could just be a very crashy lake. So yes, Donna, you have won. Don't worry if you have not won. We're having lots of giveaways. I have so many paintings to give away. And the nice thing is normally there aren't so many entries. There's usually around 50 entries. There's not so many that your chance of winning are impossible. So that's pretty fun. Yay. What is the shelf life of Spectrafix? I have no idea. That is a good question. Not even a little bit of an idea on that one. Hold on, let me grab the bottle. I don't think it says anything, so it shouldn't have an expiration. Let's find out. Ooh. Let's see. I don't see any bit of an expiration on it, so I don't know that there is one. Wow, you don't see that every day. Recycle or reuse this bottle. Usually stuff is like, don't reuse this. It's not safe. This stuff is safe, though. Yeah, it doesn't say. I'm guessing, it says it's health safe. I'm guessing a fairly long time. Let's see. Dee said, we have Lake Michigan, very big crashy waves. The ice shoves are amazing too. Ice shoves? What's an ice shove? But yeah, being that there are no, I would assume if it doesn't say that there, you know, there's no expiration, which is interesting because it's made from casein, denatured something, grain alcohol, weird, and water, not for use by children. Works. My channel's not for kids, so that works. I have to say that FDA is very strict on that whole thing, and my you know, so that's why I keep throwing that out there. Let's see. Melissa said, does Spectrafix cause a color fix to pastel? Do you mean color shift? So, okay, here's the thing. Anytime, actually, hold on just a second. I want to go to MeWe really quick and post that the giveaway is over. Just because we'll have people that will keep entering and I don't want to disappoint anybody or waste their time. 1 second. By 1 second, I mean multiple seconds because I apparently can't count. Who was it? Donna. 1 second. Donna Rowley. Are you not coming up on here, Donna? There we are. Donna Rowley. There we go. Donna, if you were watching, message me, send me a private message of your address. You don't need to announce that to everybody or wherever you're having me ship this. It has to be in the US. Let's go ahead. Oh, wait, I should put... there we go. Let me save this and then back to talking about color. Okay, so you had asked, whoa, that just jumped. So color fix, I think you mean shift, maybe not. Whenever you use pastels, when you seal stuff down, things make it darker. I find that the pastel fix, Jason Morgan found, it wasn't super extreme with that compared to other ones. And I've actually have seen that too, because I've used certain sprays in the past that were aerosol sprays, and it really caused a severe color shift on pastels. Now, I am not a pastel artist other than pan pastels. I don't like the chalky feel. I used to use them. I used to do commission work with pastels, but now I don't because I turned out to be a crazy person and I can't stand the feel of them. So I'm a bat shrimp, YouTube shrimp, bat shrimp crazy. So I don't use them anymore, so I haven't like recently compared, but I don't notice a huge shift. when I'm using the Spectrafix on pan pastels. It does, it is like a fixative to an extent. So if you mean, does it fix it in place? Yes, as much as anything else. I found it to be as good as anything else there. But no matter what with pastels, charcoal, even like powder blender on sanded paper with colored pencils, no matter what you seal with, I find that it always, like if you were to wipe your hand across it, it'll smudge a little bit, whereas like acrylics wouldn't. So a little bit at least. But it does fix it in place. It does cause all fixatives are going to cause a minor color shift. So what was advised to me by a framer, when I used to work at Michael's, the framer there, because I talked to her about that. I'm like, I hate every time I spray this, it gets darker and the lights aren't as light. She said what they recommend doing, and this is from a framer, you do need to use a fixative, was her thing. And I know a lot of pastel artists don't use them. And I understand because it does shift the color. The problem is that pastel is not permanently stuck on whatever pastel paper you're using. Sanded paper, pastel matte, Hansen pastel papers, any of that. None of it is really permanent. You want to do as much for the pastels as you can to get them to stick as long as possible to that paper. So what the framer was telling me, she goes, people bring in work all the time that over, even just a few years of time, you're going to start noticing at the bottom of the matte pastel dust inside the frame. So it's not just house dust, it's pastel dust because it's constantly falling off a little bit more. Spraying, she said always recommend spraying it with something. But then go back over, because your brightest highlights are the ones that tend to get darker. She said, go back over that and don't spray that, like the highlight in the eye. So just a few little bright white that were getting too dark, and she didn't spray that. But they also, it was recommended spray continuously throughout the piece. So don't just wait till the end of your pastel drawing and spray then, because then you're going to notice a bigger shift. If you're spraying as you go, you can keep adding more layers, and each of those bottom layers are being sprayed as you go. You're going to have less color shift because you adjusted your color when you went back over at the next layer, but it's going to be stuck on better. That was what the framer had told me. I would not consider myself a pastel artist besides pan pastels, so it's not something that I'm like, I guess, current on. It had been, 15 years ago maybe longer than that I used to do like actual pastel work and commissions. So there you go. Linda said, when I taught 4th grade, I would tell the kids that using bad words meant they weren't showing others how smart they really are because they weren't using creative vocabulary. Yeah, but oddly enough, tests have shown higher IQ kind of goes hand in hand with swearing a lot. I don't know why that is. It works for me. But no, you're right. I've been trying to look for more creative ways to word things. I'm currently really entertained by the idea of bat shrimp crazy. I'm using that forever. Get used to it because I'm not letting that go. But yeah, no, you're definitely right. I mean, anything to get a kid to stop swearing. You don't want them, they need to learn some self-control. Have that these days. But yeah, I thought that was odd because everyone has always talked about how it was like an indication of low IQ, and it's like actually it's the opposite from what studies have shown, which I thought was interesting and seriously amuses me given how foul my mouth tends to be. So, I'm working on improving it, at least some of it. Susan said ice shoves. An ice shove is a surge from ice or ocean, large lake onto the shore. Ooh. I'm from Southern California. Nothing froze there. Dee said, so I've not seen that. When the ice begins to break up, the mass is shoved into the shore. It can pile up and even take out buildings. Whoa, that is crazy. Melissa said, shift. Okay, color shift. Okay, I think I got that then. We're good. Art by D. Dr. B said, I'm sorry I have to go now. Thanks for another fun night live stream. Thanks for being here. Thank you everyone for joining. Let's see. Danny said, hey Lisa, was wondering about the Patreon group for the monthly challenges. Are you still having this, and have you moved it to MeWe? It is on MeWe, and I don't know if I'll get notifications when people join. And also I haven't posted this month. I don't know if I posted last month's. I've been bad. When people don't remind me, I forget. And it seems not that many people participate in the Patreon challenges, and I just kept forgetting. So I need to post those because those are still cool. So yes, it is over on MeWe. I don't check Facebook often at all, so I just added a bunch of people. But when I logged in or looked at it today, it looked like a bunch of people were posting stuff to do with the art challenge or the group challenges. So I need to change it so that stuff has to be approved, I guess, before it gets published over there. But yeah, I'm gonna need to. I should at least get on top of that. I've been doing bad. Let's see. Whoops, that just jumped. Good to know about the pastels. Yay. Yeah, Nick said, they're beautiful, but I question the permanency. Yeah, it's kind of the same with oil pastels. They never dry all the way, and that weirds me out. I'm like, it's just so easy to smudge. But then on the flip side, like I did a painting years ago. I was a teenager, so I would have been in high school. And it was with watercolor and I think it was chalk and charcoal. I don't know if there was any pastels. There might have been. It was by Typical Orca. It's still in my old bedroom. My mom has it in her house. The frame broke at one point. It's not behind glass. She has this terrible looking mat around it that was really just poster board, I think, cut around it, and it's not faded at all. So that's kind of surprising. In that case, I mean, the chalk and the charcoal should have fallen off. I don't know what I sprayed it with. I would have sprayed it with something, but even I was surprised that one didn't fall, but I would have sprayed it with something. So there's that. But yeah, I don't love when things don't feel super permanent. Like that's one of the things I love about like acrylics and oils. Like there's no, it is on there. It's not coming off. I mean, once it's varnished, I can spill soda on it. I know, because I've done that, and it's fine. You just wipe it off and it's fine. So I really like that about these mediums, and that's why I'm going to do oil and acrylics for above the fish tank. Water will get splashed inevitably, whether it's a fish splashing because it tried to jump out of the tank and hit the netting top I have on it and that splashed, or when I do water changes, anything. These will be fine when that hits it, whereas certain mediums, like you could really ruin it even behind glass if water got in there or whatever. So that is definitely one of the things I love about oils and acrylics. Mildred said, using shrimp as an explicit, whatever, I can't talk and I can't read because words are hard, opens up a world of creative insults. Just the shrimp monologue from Forrest Gump provides a ton. I have not seen that in so long. I'm going to have to look at that. I like it a lot though. Let's see. Yeah, we've still got 9 minutes if you guys have anything else you want to chat about. Otherwise, I'm going to probably start talking about animal poop again. Don't get me started on the sea foam. Let's see. I ordered, speaking of fish, I think I told you guys on the video, I ordered some 2 Banggai cardinals and a Royal Grama from a place that quarantines. I ordered them a week ago. I'm still waiting to see. I don't even know when they're shipping them. So I'm waiting to see on that. I'm excited. I keep checking my spam folder to get a notification because they don't even have you pay until it, let's see, did I get any emails on that? They don't even have you pay until right before they ship. So, oh, we've got a few new members over on Patreon. Welcome, Barbara. Let's see, Laurel Allen joined tonight. Welcome to you too. Where was I looking for? Spam. Because that's probably where it would go when they tried to let me know my fish were ready. No, we have partnerships. Some of the stuff that people want you to... So one of the things as a YouTuber, we get a lot of people who want us to promote their company. And if you notice, I don't promote many. If I don't trust it, I'm not... Like, if it's not something that I would personally use, I am not going to push it on you guys because I don't want to recommend something that I don't personally trust. So, yeah, here's one. One of them, actually, it concerns me too. A lot of them from other countries looking to sponsor programs that are downloaded onto people's computers. I'm like, I've never heard of your company. I am not recommending people just download random programs onto their computer. Some of them are for video editing, some of them for different things. And I'm like, but I've never heard of you. And I know that startups, they're going to have a hard time, but I just am not comfortable. This one wants to give me a box of $500 paint supplies, worth $500 paint supplies. Have a first exercise of our program. How much do you charge? I don't know what they're trying to... Oh, they're actually in the US. Yeah, I can actually read what she's asking about. I think that this one wants me to promote somebody else's lessons. I'm not sure. It's weird to me, some of these, but I get a lot, anyway, I'll get a lot for video games too, wanting me to push video games onto you guys. I'm like, why would I do that? But yeah, so there's certainly some questionable stuff that they want me to push. It's funny, there's a guy I watch, he does yard like stuff on lawn care and stuff, or I had watched, I don't really anymore, but now he promotes some odd stuff where I'm like, I feel like it almost makes the channel a little bit I don't know, he seems shady when he's promoting like a mattress. I'm like, why would a mattress have anything to do with lawn care? I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's weird, makes me uncomfortable, so I don't do it. Plus, like I said, if I'm not super familiar with the product, I would not recommend something that I wouldn't personally use. And if I'm not familiar with it, I can't even say if I would use it. So there's that. Audrey said, if you use liquid in oil painting, how long do you have to wait for to varnish the painting? Usually, I give it about 3 days at least. It needs, okay, so depends on the varnish you use. The varnish I use is Gamsol by Gamvar. Gamvar. Not Gamsol, Gamvar. Hold on, let me grab it. I'll show you, because I can't remember names. Gamvar. So this is the varnish I use for my oil paintings, or if I do an oil over acrylic, either one is going to be. Let me make sure that is focusing. Yes, that is the one that I use. This can be applied to your painting. So like Winsor & Newton, they say that your painting needs to be dry for 6 months before you varnish. You can't do that on a commission. This can be applied as soon as the painting is dry to the touch. I paint in such thin layers. Mine is dry to the touch generally overnight. I give it 3 days or so, and then I can varnish. So it depends on the varnish that you're using, but in my case, I give it 3 days, I'm good. Oh, I have not signed it yet. Let's do that. So where is my liner brush? I had to go through, I had a few of the giveaway ones, hadn't been signed yet. I had to do all that before I varnished. So good news too, I can varnish, I don't know if I'll varnish it tonight or not. I was going to say I can varnish it while I'm doing the other ones, but I'd really rather it dry a little bit longer because sometimes the varnish will smudge things if you think they're dry, but they're not really all the way. So I'll probably wait till tomorrow just in case. Apparently I can't sign my name and talk at the same time. Odd, I didn't know that was an issue. We're going to do a little dolphin tail because it's ocean themed. Well, I don't know. I guess up in Wisconsin you guys don't have ocean themes, but whatever. We were going for a lake, weren't we? You get a lake dolphin. Let's see. Cat's Art Pick said, I like to listen to music when painting. How about you? Usually audiobooks. Sometimes I'll go through a phase where I really just want to listen to all the music, but normally audiobooks is my thing, like fantasy stories I really like while I'm painting. Sometimes podcasts. I have some political podcasts I like to listen to or news stuff, but most of the time I would say audiobooks is for me. I like to get lost in a fantasy world while painting fantasy things. It just works. Even though the paintings aren't to do with the paint, I like it. Let's see. Vilma said, how do you dispose of your paint water? Down the kitchen sink. Because it's acrylics. It just goes down the sink. One of the things, funny you bring this up. So when I used to work at Michael's and Hobby Lobby, this was a problem with both of them. The classroom sometimes had Wilton cake decorating. Wilton cake decorating uses this oily frosting type crap it's oily and it clogs sinks. It's got a lot of fat in it. It would clog sinks so bad. But what would happen, the people in those classes, even though they weren't supposed to, they would rinse all of their stuff down the sink, and then when those of us with acrylic painting would dump our watercolor, whatever, that won't clog a sink. Acrylic paint will not clog a sink, but it would get caught on the clog from the oil paint or the stuff Wilton did, and when it backs up, the color from the paint comes up. So we kept getting blamed for this, and actually this one witch who worked at Hobby Lobby, she came in, actually she got moved out of that department because I made a big deal out of this one, because she came in, I had students that were in there, and I kept telling them, I'm like, this is happening, I know, I used to run the classroom at Michael's, this is happening because of the Wilton class. They're putting that, I forget what it's called, I don't know, I don't cook, or do cakes or bake or any of that stuff. But they would wash it down, and that oil was it would just clog in there. And I kept telling them, this is happening from Wilton. So this woman comes in, and with the paint water, if it was painted, thicker paint, which is rare in the class for rinsing a brush a couple of times, there was not much paint in that water. We would dump it outside, but if it was just the barely tinted water, you'd go down. This woman comes in, starts just chewing out the students. Okay, the students are your customers at the store. You don't get to chew them out for anything. She was threatening that they wouldn't be offered classes anymore. I mean, she went off. Oh, I got management involved in that, because it's one thing to go off on me, which is also inappropriate because we're not the ones clogging the sink. And I've told you guys this, or not you, but that, like, I've told them so many times, it is the cake decorating, because you'll see like oily bits come up with the paint. Like the paint doesn't cause oil. There's no oil in that paint. You don't dump oil painting water there, well, there's not water in oil paint, but anyway, yeah, she got moved to another department and wasn't allowed to work anywhere near me when I was teaching. So that was kind of nice. She would just glare at me when I walked by. I just smiled because I thought it was hilarious. She was a bitter, nasty woman, but she got like, you can't do that to students. Like, you have no right to, like, oh, it was a thing. So yeah, that was funny. But no, for oil painting, now oil is going to be different. Oil, I'm using a paint thinner, and that needs to be disposed of. You need to contact your city, and they will let you know what like hazardous material, where they want you to dispose of it. Don't just throw it in the trash. Don't put it down your sink. So that's going to be different. But with this is just paint, and it's just tinted water essentially. There's no chunks of paint, because the paint, like if I have a thick like glob of paint, I'm going to wipe that off, as you can see here, on a paper towel. And that goes in the trash. It's plastic, so it dries as that. But in the water, it's tinted water essentially. That just goes down the sink, and that will not clog a sink unless your sink is already clogged. That's not what's clogging it. It's just that is the color comes up, and so people assume, oh, it had nothing to do with the paint. It had to do with the other crap you put down the sink. And yeah, we got the signature there. Let's see, Clark Fine Art. Well, come back. You jumped. I don't know why you jumped from me. Said, with pan pastel, did you find it easy to blend and create your own colors? Very, just as easy as with paint, like very much so. I just ordered a set of 20 and added the colorless blender. I didn't even use the colorless blender. I didn't find it necessary. I didn't buy it. And a couple of other colors, but most others look, most of the other pan pastel colors look mixable. Yeah, I've just been mixing mine. They sent me, so just for transparency, Pan Pastels did provide me with my initial set. I never bought more. I never needed more. They mix so well. Like, it is so easy, like teal. You mix your phthalo blue, your phthalo green. I've got my teal. I'm good to go. Add white if I need a lighter version. Like, I have had no problems mixing my colors. So yeah, I just went with the basic set of 20, and it has absolutely been enough for me. So, and I'm one who likes to go get all the colors. And one of the reasons in this case I didn't, so let me show you what mine are, how they're stored. Oh, it's stuck. There we go. So they're stored in this, I'll hold it up here so you can see like size-wise. There we go. There are my colors. It's stored in this little tin thing. It holds all of them, and it's convenient. All of my colors are in one location. If I were to get more colors, I need more of those pans, and it's kind of a pain to switch from stacks, and I'm like, I just mix anything I want from there. So part of it has been just lazy. The lazy factor made me keep those. Let's see. Lori said, how is a fish shipped? A bag, box, cooler? Kind of all of those things. So it'll be in its bag, and they will typically put actual oxygen in the bag. It's overnighted, so you pay a lot to have it shipped because it does need to be overnighted. And you want it in the bag as little as possible. And it's kept in they'll put it in a box that has like foams, like styrofoam or something to help insulate it. And depending on the weather, it will either have an ice pack to keep it cool enough or a heat pack to keep it warm. So it just depends on the weather there. Luckily this time of year, the weather is, this is the best weather we're going to get for having a fish ship. But yeah, that is how we do it. Andrea said, love the contrast between sky and the water. Thank you. Nick said, Hail Mary by Andrew Weir, halfway through, and it's really entertaining. Message me that. I need to look into it. Clark Finder said, okay, got that one. Andrea said, now this is almost over. You have inspired me to get my Blue Jay painting I'm working on and complete it. Yay! That's good. Fran Jean said, I was watching your YouTube video of the flamingo. You use the airbrush to make the water under your flamingo soft. How do you do that if you don't have an airbrush? You can kind of dry brush. You can kind of like if you go back and watch how I did the water here, you know, where I added the cloud and then smudged it out, you could kind of do that. It's not going to be the same. Airbrush is very unique. The closest I think that you can get to an airbrush look, it would be with oils. With oils, you can do most things because of the dry time and all of that. The airbrush is a medium that has this uniqueness to it that you're just not really going to get without it. You can get similar, you're not going to get exact. So similar would be if you back this video up to the beginning and watch how I added the white cloud and then smudged it out. That would be about as close as you would get without an airbrush with acrylic. So hopefully that helps. Okay, 10:04, we are done. Gibson looks like he's more comfortable, so that's good. I have to go and go cook for my My dog with the upset tummy. So anyway, oh, speaking of words, you know words that drive me crazy? Actually, the word tummy I can't stand when adults use tummy, froggy. People in these the frog groups that use froggy. My froggy this, my froggy that. Can you help me with my froggy? I don't know. Can I talk to your mommy or daddy? Because I'm not going to explain this to somebody who's acting like a child. Froggy. The same doggy. My doggy doesn't do this. My doggy doesn't. You're a grown woman. Until you can speak like one, I can't talk to you. So anyway, random little rant of mine there. It drives me crazy in these groups where I'm like, I just feel like you're not taking the care of the animal seriously when you're speaking like a toddler. Like, it drives me insane. So you're talking earlier how we were about the different words. Those are definitely like my biggest ones. Wow, the words that bother me are not the words that bother most people, but they drive me insane. But tummy is one of them. Like when an adult is, I use it referring to him because he didn't feel good, but like he's a child because I'm bat shrimp crazy. So yeah, anyway, there we go. Make sure to check out our moderators channel. Nick and Joseph both have, I can't talk because words are so hard. Nick and Joseph both have art channels here on YouTube. Check them out. Joseph has been consistently doing live streams, which is, I wish I keep not missing them, but super cool. Really fun. It's a lot of the same people that are in our live stream are there, so you get to hang out with the same people during his live stream and chat, which is lots of fun. And yeah, there we go. That is it for tonight. The links for their websites or their YouTube channels are in the video description, as long as I did my job right, which you never know because I fail at stuff sometimes. Anyway, tomorrow I will be announcing another giveaway of another painting. Actually, did I give this one away yet? Hold on. Where is it? I don't think I've given this one away yet, have I? Let me know if I have. If I haven't given it away, this is going to be the live stream, the giveaway for tomorrow over on MeWe. So we've got Pretty Moon. If not, it'll be something else. I've got to double check that I haven't already given this one away because I have a hard time keeping up with stuff. It's already varnished too, which is odd. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think I did. I don't think I gave that one away. I've got to double check. Anyway, I'll see you guys or talk to you tomorrow over on when I announce that giveaway. So thank you. Oh, Joseph said no. Okay, good. So that's going to be tomorrow's giveaway. Wow, that actually looked good too. Look at how good that looked on the live. The camera's doing a little better tonight with these colors. But that's a fairly, okay, it looks kind of blue here. It's not blue on mine, but whatever. That will be tomorrow over on MeWe. So make sure you're following over there. And I will see you guys Friday at 1 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be working in colored pencil. Bye.